actually just learned something today from a guy who's a new contributor to my site, Unlimited Hangout, and his first article is going to be up soon. And it was just, my mouth was agape by the end of it. And I'm probably going to butcher his last name because we haven't like talked in person. So I think it's Klizek or Klizek, John Klizek. I'm hoping I'm saying it right. Anyway, he wrote a lot about this agenda, specifically about changing the education system for the fourth industrial revolution and how it goes back decades and decades and decades. And he documents it all going back to the 70s. And he had something in there that I'd actually never heard before, which is really fascinating, that the term transhumanism was coined in a 1957 book by Julian Huxley. Yes, the relative of Aldous Huxley of Brave New World fame. Julian Huxley was the first head of UNESCO at the UN that was actually a big part of gaming out this fourth industrial revolution remake with all this tech and all of this stuff, you know, for the education system back then. But what he should be best known for is for being president of the Eugenics Society, the British Eugenics Society, which included very famous people at the time: John Maynard Keynes, the economist, Winston Churchill, the prime minister, and of course, Margaret Sanger was involved in some other prominent people as well. And he framed transhumanism and the future of genetic engineering and this push to get machines, merge humans with machines, as the next phase of eugenics.
And what date was this you're talking about where they discussed
1957. That? This is a 1957 book. And Julian Huxley, the Huxleys are, you know, part of the elite of British society at the time, and their descendants still are today. And the British Eugenics Society still exists. It's called the Galton Institute. They didn't bother taking eugenics out of their name until 1989. And today it's populated with very prominent professors who have not been forced out of their positions for being an openly eugenicist group. They teach at places like King's College London, Imperial College London, and a lot of prominent universities very involved. And, you know, they're allowed to do this. And one of the people there, that's the secretary, whose last name is also Galton, who I'm not sure if he's related to the Sir Francis Galton, who the Institute is now named for, who's actually the father of eugenics. They took eugenics out of the name in 1989, then names it after the guy that created eugenics. As I mean, it's nuts. Right. It's not, no. But he wrote a book called Eugenics in the 21st Century, and he says the same thing, that genetic engineering enables a whole new area of eugenics. So I really think people need to realize that transhumanist is something very different from maybe what you've been sold.
Ωστόσο, όπως έχουμε ήδη προαναφέρει, η εταιρεία Neuralink επικεντρώθηκε αποκλειστικά στη συγχώνευση, η διεπαφή μεταξύ ανθρώπων και ηλεκτρονικής, οι οποίοι δημιούργησαν μια συσκευή που θα εγχέεται μέσω της σφαγίτιδας φλέβας στον εγκέφαλο για να γίνει ένα δίκτυο ηλεκτρονικών συνδέσεων σαν να ήταν ανθρώπινοι νευρώνες. Και γι' αυτό ο στόχος θα ήταν η ανάπτυξη βελτιωμένων αλληλεπιδράσεων μεταξύ εγκεφάλου και υπολογιστή για την επέκταση του εύρους ζώνης που χρησιμοποιεί ο βιολογικός εγκέφαλος για την αλληλεπίδραση και την επικοινωνία με εξωτερικούς υπολογιστές. Με άλλα λόγια, θα ήταν σαν ένα τεχνητό δίκτυο που θα συνδεόταν με τον εγκεφαλικό ιστό που θα μας οδηγούσε στη συγχώνευση μεταξύ ανθρώπου μηχανής, ώστε να συνδεθούμε με έναν κεντρικό υπολογιστή μέχρι να γίνουμε αυτόματα σύμπαρξ χωρίς ψυχή ή συνείδηση.
Been able to control the computer with its brain. Just, yeah.
This is a penny. It's pretty small, right? It's roughly the same size as the tip of my thumb. Now, zooming in extremely close, this right here is the needle that will be inserted into your skull. Placing it beside a penny, you actually couldn't see it. As the robot inserts each thread one by one, at the end, there could eventually be up to 10,000 of these electrodes inside your head, each responsible for recording separate neurons which can later on be analyzed. But not only can they read data from your brain, they can also input data as well. It's a two-way street. It's sort of like being able to upload and download things from your brain.
One of the things that I think is so essential to free and open societies is freedom of thought. And up until now, the conversation we've been having is around freedom of speech. Once we can access people's thoughts and access people's emotion, we have to create a space that enables people to think freely, to think divergent thoughts, to think creative thoughts. And in a society where people fear having those thoughts, the likelihood of being able to enjoy progress is significantly diminished.
Now, do you really think that if the technocrats of this fourth industrial revolution were actually able to merge man with machine and have the ability to literally control your thoughts and emotions, that they wouldn't do it? Of course, it'll be sold as, you know, the greatest scientific achievement in history, helping the blind to see and helping the disabled to walk. But history shows us that things which could be used to benefit humanity are all too often weaponized and used against.
I can see some of you are checking the WhatsApp messages on your phones. What if I tell you, in the future, you might not even have to hold your phone in your hand to do this? If you had the choice, would you implant your smartphone into your head? Let us do a thought experiment and try to imagine what it would be like if we lived in a world where this would be possible. In that world, you could access all the functions of your phone using your thoughts. Everything that you usually see on the screen would be displayed into your visual space. Sitting here and listening to me, you can look up who was this guy called Elon Musk again, just by thinking about him. The answer, including a nice picture of Mr. Musk, would instantly be displayed in front of you. With a quick thought command, you can share what you see and hear with a friend in Hong Kong, who can participate as if he would be here with us.
This project is essentially part of the World Economic Forum's fourth industrial revolution, where these social engineers decide and dictate the future of humanity for us. They openly talk about merging man with machine. This is a transhumanist agenda being rolled out by the technocrats. I know this sounds crazy, and I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it for myself. And I rarely ever ask you guys to do anything, but right now I'm going to ask everyone. After you finish watching this report, please search Fourth Industrial Revolution on YouTube, or click the link in the description and you will find the official World Economic Forum's own video on the Fourth Industrial Revolution talking about merging man with machine. You will hear them talk about gaining access to people's thoughts and emotions and building a construct for them to safely operate and think in. This is the definition of mind control.
Γι' αυτό ήδη από το 2013 ξεκίνησε το σχέδιο Brain, έρευνα του εγκεφάλου μέσω της καινοτόμου βελτίωσης της νευροτεχνολογίας, το οποίο πραγματοποιήθηκε με την κυβέρνηση Ομπάμα και χρηματοδοτήθηκε μεταξύ άλλων από την υπηρεσία DARPA με στόχο να χαρτογραφήσει τον εγκέφαλό μας, όπως έγινε με το ανθρώπινο γονιδίωμα, με το οποίο εντόπισαν 97 νέες περιοχές του εγκεφάλου. Και με αυτόν τον τρόπο οι υπολογιστικοί νευροεπιστήμονες μπόρεσαν να δημιουργήσουν τεχνητή τεχνολογία για την εμφύτευση σκέψεων και πεποιθήσεων που δεν υπήρχαν προηγουμένως στο μυαλό των ανθρώπων, εξαλείφοντας παράλληλα άλλες ανεπιθύμητες σκέψεις και πεποιθήσεις. Ομοίως, άλλες έρευνες στόχευαν στη χρήση της τεχνολογίας του εγκεφάλου μέσω εμφυτευμένης τεχνητής νοημοσύνης για να μάθει κανείς να παίζει πιάνο χωρίς να εργαστεί, να μειώνει το ψυχικό στρες ή να χτυπάει μια μπάλα χωρίς καμία συνειδητή προσπάθεια, αλλά με άμεση διαχείριση με κάποιο είδος ρομποτικού τσιπ εγκεφάλου.
I mean, we'll probably be releasing some new videos showing progress maybe in a month or so, and because we already got like a monkey with a wireless implant in their skull and the tiny wires, who can play video games using his mind.
What?
And he's totally really, that's amazing. He looks totally normal and happy. So it does not look like an unhappy monkey, and you can't even see where the neural implant was put in, except for that he's got like a slight like dark mohawk.
It's not an unhappy monkey. Very important.
But other than that,
slight
it
one.
looks
It's a
normal.
small.
Yeah, it doesn't look. He's not uncomfortable, and he doesn't look weird. But you know, one of the things we're trying to figure out is like, can we have the monkeys play mind pong with each other? Yeah, that would be super, pretty cool.
Sυγχρονη, which actually beat Elon Musk in this race to test brain chips. The CEO is Dr. Thomas Oxley, and he joins me now. Doctor, you have FDA approval for this interface between a computer and your brain. I think this is a big deal. How do you get a computer to talk to your brain? Can you explain it in layman's terms?
Thank you. Brain-computer interfaces are a truly revolutionary technology that promise to transform lives of millions of people suffering from paralysis. So it creates a direct connection from the brain to control external digital devices that improve independence.
So hold on a second. I've got a computer, you can link it to my brain, and you can tell my brain to make my left leg move or my right leg move. I mean, can you do that?
Well, your brain right now is telling your hand to move. Once we digitize that signal directly out of the brain, we can then turn that into a command signal.
Wow. This is a real... It seems to me that this really is a breakthrough. Are you a public company?
We're not. We did our Series B led by Kozla Ventures a couple of months back.
And are you thinking about going public at some point so people like me can get a piece of the action?
We've got a fair way to go, but we have just received the first green light from the FDA to commence clinical trials in the US for a permanent implant.
Okay, so what are you trying out in America?
So the implant comes into the brain through the blood vessels. The blood vessels are the natural highway into the brain. So 1 million heart catheterizations are performed each year in the US, and it's like that. It's a safe and accessible way for large-scale adoption of our technology, and we're going to begin to test that towards the end of the year.
Can you give us any kind of time frame as to how long it would be before we can actually get these brain implants that work with people who really need them?
Yeah, the FDA is leading globally on what the pathway looks like. We are moving along that pathway, we think, pretty fast. We think we can be into market in 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years, okay? Dr. Oxley, what you've done is spectacular, and we wish you the very best of luck and the very best of success in the future.